Hi, I am looking to build this pool in Nebraska. Wondering if you could point me in the right direction to doing a swim up bar and beach entry in vinyl. I'll just flash a picture of this rectangle pool with, it looks like a swim up bar on the end and a beach entry somewhat adjacent to the swim up bar area. So any advice on doing that out of vinyl?
I think it's absolutely possible. So what you want to consider when you think about that, the vinyl, today you can put a vinyl liner in anything and they can make it fit, so no problem there. The biggest issues with the other two pieces are structurally. So if you have a swim-up bar on one end, again, when you're building a normal pool all the way in the ground, you don't think about footing it or supporting it or what has to happen underground because it's automatically underground. When you expose one end of the pool, now you have to assume whatever your code is, if you have any frost codes, or if you have, you might have rat wall codes or something saying how deep the footing must be. You have to always remember that your side walls are going to be covered with soil all the way down to the footing, whereas that exposed end wall, you have to make sure you foot underneath. And when you foot underneath that, you need to make sure that your footing is deep enough on that swim-up bar wall, but then it has to be deeper running along the side of the pool walls for a little bit, just to protect, because there's a constant wind or cold blowing against that wall. And then if you're doing it if you're gonna do this out of steel, you could still do it out of steel vinyl liner. Construction is easy enough to do. You just either double up that end wall, or in our case, what we've done in the past, we've done it every way you could imagine. I'm assuming you're using a steel wall to build a vinyl, unless you're using cord walls. Either way would work. But with steel wall, we've done 3 different ways of doing that bar wall. We'd have the steel facing into the pool, that's where your liner is at, and then we'd put a secondary wall in the opposite direction facing outside and working a footing down in between and pinning them together, and then pouring a bar on top. The second thing we've done is we've used a steel wall cemented in the ground like you would normally would cement it in the ground, and then tie a rebar cage around the back of it, and then shot concrete into it. So now you have a steel wall on the inside, and you have a gunite concrete shot wall on the outside. That's a super way of making it really strong. The third thing that we've also done is poured that wall. So if the rest of the pool is steel wall vinyl liner, we've set up and formed and poured and or shot an entire concrete wall on that end of the pool. Just depends on your capability and what you have access to and what you prefer to do and what you have knowledge with. So that's the deep end. You just have to think about that wall has got to be built thick enough that it can support the weight of the exposed wall and the pool itself. At the other end, we kind of do the opposite. It's same but the opposite. In our case, we build what's called a hybrid. And how I would build your pool is I would build those 3 walls out of steel. I would build that far end where the zero entry is. That would be all done out of concrete for me. And I would not have the liner go over the top of on the flat surface of the the beach entry. I would do that in concrete, use a step kit, and build that and make sure it's strong enough footing and everything, because you're going to end up using a lot of stone and or a lot of concrete to do this, because again you're going to need a lot of support underneath there and to support that up so that that final finish can literally fade up to 0. If it's a true beach entry, you literally have to flow that thing right up to the pool deck and then figure out exactly how those things fit together. That's a whole nother thing. I would need to know if you're looking for a step down or if you want a true beach entry where it goes up to 0. But I would do it hybrid, where the liner would come up to the face of that structure and then get sealed off, and then that all would be concrete, and I would either do a pebble finish or do a quartz finish, or in our case we do an eco finish on that end, and it blends together really well. and then that way you're not trying to vinyl cover that. Vinyl cover on a sun shelf is okay. I still do it hybrided, we're all concrete, but with the beach entry, that liner would have to literally come up out of the water and you'd be walking on it, and even if it's the grip resistant stuff, I don't think that that would finish off very well. For some reason, I don't know that I would like how that would finish. But hopefully that helps. You can certainly, if you get to that point, you can reach out and I can try to help you through with some pictures, if nothing else, of all the stuff that we've done, and you know, some of the more detailed pictures if you want to see how things are done. But good luck.